Hi, I'm Luke Sladicka, current chair of the Historic Preservation Commission in Peapack, Gladstone, and I'm here with Mark Corigliano, the former chair of the Peapack, Gladstone Historic Preservation Commission, currently on the council and a local historian and train aficionado. Hey, so Mark, we're standing here in front of the Gladstone station. What can you tell me about the history of the Gladstone station?
Well, this is a rather unique structure. This structure was built in about 1890 by the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad. And it's unique mainly because it's lasted this long. It's a wood structure, and it's over 125 years old, and it retains many of its original features, as you can see, which we'll go over.
So Mark, this building is pretty interesting the way it's constructed. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe how that is and what went into it?
And so it's a rather unique building. It was built in 1890, and it was built to what they called the Queen Anne style, which was an up-and-coming design of homes and buildings. Although they say that this building did not have all the ornamentation on it that a typical Queen Anne building would have, and they called that the stick style. So it's a little bit of a mix. Keeping in mind, this was a utilitarian structure. We look at this today and we look at it's very romantic, but it was really meant to be very functional.
Right.
With a couple little details, which we'll review in a minute.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the features?
Sure, let's look at some of the neat features on this lovely building. The first one that really stands out is this lovely turreted corner. An extra detail that probably cost a few extra dollars to build and gave this building a very nice distinction. You'll also note different shapes of shingles below the turret. See a little zigzag pattern. Again, a little extra ornamentation. You'll see clapboard siding. You'll see that it had a large overhang on the roof with supporting brackets, very typical of a train station to keep people out of inclement weather. Another very interesting feature is if you look up top on the roof, you'll see a very lovely gabled dormer with leaded windows in it. Now that's a false dormer. There's really no living space up there. You could probably barely stand up in there, maybe in the middle, but that was an ornamentation item just to give the building a little bit of articulation and character.
One of the things that was really curious to me is I know living in town, we've got a Peapack line about a mile away. We've got this Gladstone line here. Just wondering, why are they so close together? Do you have any information maybe you could share with us about that?
I do. Stations were not typically located that close together. In this case, there was one in Peapack. The one here was put here simply because it was the end of the line, the terminal building, as they would call it, at the end of this branch line of the railroad. Peapack Station was built because of private interests. There was a gentleman, as you all well know, Mr. Brady, who lived in the area. He was rather wealthy. He had a large estate, which is now the Hamilton Farms Golf Course.
Right.
And that station was built so Mr. Brady had a means to take his animals to shows and to market.
Wow.
He displayed animals.
Yeah.
Okay. There was also another reason, and that was because there was some industry near the Peapack Station. Hubs for wagons were made there.
Oh, wow.
So there was another reason also to have a freight component there as well.
So Mark, I know that there's a lot of wealth here back in the late 1800s, and this was kind of a retreat for a lot of folks that would kind of commute out of the city and have their summer homes here. Is there anything, lifestyles of the rich and famous, sort of, that would go on in terms of the train or this area that you could talk to me about?
For many, many years, almost 100, there was a special service that came to this station. It was informally called the Millionaire's Express. But there was one train every evening that left Hoboken for Gladstone and one train that left Hoboken for Dover. And on that train was a car. It was a little different from all the other cars. Rather than just having rows of seats in it, it had very big plush wicker chairs, padded with padding on them.
Yep.
And that car was a subscription car. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
And you paid a fee to join a club that leased that car from the railroad.
Yep.
And you would get on that car in the morning, and you would get on the car in the evening, and a porter would be on that car in a white jacket and black pants. And in the morning, he would serve coffee and perhaps croissant or some sort of baked good.
Yeah.
And in the evening, he served cocktails.
Oh.
And he knew everybody's cocktail on the train, and they'd on the car, all the subscribers, and they would get on the car in the evening, and they would have their cocktail brought to their seat, and they would break out a deck of cards or talk business. And I have no doubt many big deals were done on those subscription cards.
I bet.
When the old electric fleet was retired in 1983, and this current fleet was put into service. No provision was made for the subscription cars, and unfortunately they went away. There were a number of them in New Jersey. One used to run down to the New Jersey shore as well, Bayhead.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Cool.